but
Oh
just
God.
I know you just fell out on the floor, and then hey, but like an 18-year-old, you just sprung right back up. Said, hey, it's time to get rid of these shoes. So that's exactly what happened.
Hey guys, this is Erin, and if this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn all there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Living in Richmond, Virginia. Today I'm really excited about who we have with us. It is Jonn from MOSAIC Catering and Events. Jonn, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Erin.
And,
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I had the great pleasure of working with Jonn very recently on a great event that I hosted at my house. And Jonn and team were absolutely terrific. And that's why I wanted to have them on here to have them talk all about our business. So let's get started. So, Jonn, tell me a little bit about MOSAIC and how you got into the event and catering business.
Well, I had a history with some of my earliest jobs working in kitchens, working around food, and afterwards doing event organizing, community organizing. And it came naturally together to come into the catering industry and events industry. So you'll see the title of the company, we are MOSAIC Catering and Events. So like right now, Erin, we do it all. Since we came over to your house, took care of your needs for the luncheon that you had. And we do things like that all over Richmond and have been doing things like that all over Richmond for 27 years, going on 28 now. The original founders are still with the company, and they are still just as active as they were originally. So we are continuously growing.
I love that. I love that. It's always good to be able to have a chance to support a local business. I had no idea you guys had been doing it this long, though it shows. I should have known.
Well, there comes with some experience for sure over time, but you have to do a little bit of everything to really understand the gravity of what we can do as an organization. So when we do smaller events, birthday parties, up to the large galas that we do for some organizations down at Main Street Station that are up to 1,500 people.
Yeah.
So we operate in the realm of everything that is few and far between. So.
I love that. I love that. So it's like it could be a big event, it could be a small event, whatever it is, MOSAIC can definitely help you guys out. So Jonn, this might be kind of a two-part question.
Absolutely, yeah.
What would you say is your why, or maybe the why of MOSAIC?
Well, I will at least speak for myself to begin with. So
I like it.
My why is being in a service-oriented industry and the personal gratification that comes from being in service to another person. And for MOSAIC, I mean, it's being in service to many people every week. Week in and week out, we have things that happen, Fridays, Saturdays, most popularly, but then some just small events like on Wednesdays. And as you know, we're always reaching out and building these relationships with the people that we work with and the other people that we have to collaborate with to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. So my why then is serving people and getting the personal gratification from that. And then at the end of the day, being thankful that I could contribute my strengths to someone who doesn't have that skill set or maybe have that confidence to step in and make sure that the show goes off, and whatever happens, the show must go on. So
that's right.
Just knowing that you've got strong people at your back who are like-minded, who want to provide that service to people is extremely important.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, because it can truly make or break an event. And I figured that out real fast, for sure. For sure. Talk to everyone about creating a memorable event through food and catering.
Through food and catering is an extremely important part about any event that you have, because that's often what people are going to remember. That, and the first thing that is the wow factor when they step into the door. And that for small groups, that can be as simple as how well the tables are set. You walk into someone's house, into a small clubhouse, and you see an elegant setup with 3 or 4 glasses at each place setting, with more utensils than you know what to do with. Chargers underneath of them, well, tastefully decorated tables, matching linens, and you walk in and see that. And if that's not something you see often, because you're maybe someone who's at conferences often, other than that, this could be out of the norm for you. And when it is, and such is the case, with what you and I worked with, it is bringing people into this atmosphere that is maybe out of their comfort zone, at least out of their common experience.
Yes.
And that gives us an opportunity to, as soon as you open the door, see the wow. They put this together. I thought they were going to show up with aluminum pans and we were going to have to serve on. But that's not how we operate. That's not what we do. What we do is full service from top to bottom. I'm thankful to be part of this industry because in the cases of those events, we deliver and we over deliver because we have those small details that we see from our experiences that we can capitalize on and show people like, hey, if we just go just one step further, you'll be in a whole new world of an experience. So that's a lot of fun to me and rewarding. And I think, and I hope from your experience, that you can feel similarly, knowing that you had provided something for someone who's close to you that they at least didn't expect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can 100% attest to experiencing that for sure. The luncheon that I put on, and Jonn could definitely tell it the first time. I'm sure he talked to me. He was like, this is a novice. This is someone who's used to doing, getting some family together. Maybe you pick up some catering from somewhere with the aluminum pan and the cover over it, and you put it out there and everyone's going to go up, family style. Right. And you were really great, Jonn, with kind of listening to what I said and then going, okay, let me get back to you, and being good about working with what I was looking to accomplish, but actually being able to see what I was looking to accomplish through what I told you and going, hey, to get the wow factor, let's go more towards this rather than this.
Yeah.
And that was beyond helpful. Beyond helpful.
Yeah, and seeing the vision and getting time to talk to you over the couple of weeks that we had to build the structure of this, understanding the vision of what you were going for is crucial, because when we are seeing the same things, then things that's easy to miss, but there's always a solution for. And when it's go time, the show's not over to the fat lady sings. And you got to get it done. So having someone that's experienced, that understands what to do in those crunch times is crucial, but more crucial, so that never even comes up in the future, hopefully, is to be on the same page with the person that you're working with. And so you both understand equally and share that common goal of doing something brilliant for someone who's close to you.
I love that. And I definitely felt it, even though I had not done an event to this degree of how large it had gotten. And for you, I'm sure you're like, hey, this isn't that big. But for me, it was. You were great about coming in and thinking of the things that hadn't even crossed.
Well, I mean, you had crammed just about every corner of your house. So, yeah.
We had to think about things about making sure we were placing people properly so that we didn't have to worry about, being in the news of, hey, a deck collapsed or a sunroom collapsed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jonn?
Yeah. Well, that wasn't, and I'll be honest, that's not something I thought about happening, was your deck falling apart. But everything was fine. We only had the 16 people that were out there. So that worked out swimming. I shouldn't say swimmingly because you live next to a lake.
That's right.
It worked out.
No swimming. Okay. And it wasn't swimming in sweat either. We had it cooled down and it was wonderful. And the weather gods smiled on us that day. Thank God. So, Jonn, tell me a little bit
Yes,
about
it's a perfect day.
what. Oh, we were so lucky. We were so lucky. Um, what would you say, Jonn, your adolescent self would not recognize about you today?
Well, I'd say two things. The most obvious is my adolescent self would be very, very curious and maybe a little afraid of where my long hair went. That'll be number one. Um, Number two would be the confidence that I now have in what I do. Um,
Okay.
and to be able to walk into a room to gauge the individuals, to gauge where where it is I can make improvements, and then having strength to walk up to that challenge and take it head on.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to be the one to take on those challenges yourselves, because often people have great relationships where you can tackle them together, but all and say like there's something that can be done about this, and let me be the one to start this process. And someone else, I've heard this back in school often, is like if you raise your hand about a question, chances are five other people in class have the same question.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you're the first person to charge at an issue, there will be people behind you who want to find the same solution. If not the same solution, at least one. So
Right. Right.
I'd say that would be the biggest thing is the confidence to tackle an issue that I know is affecting more people than just myself.
Absolutely. That's fabulous. That is fabulous. Okay, so let's move on a little bit more about tying this in. Obviously, you guys have a local business, which means you likely live in Richmond. What part of Richmond do you live in?
So I live in Sowers Gardens, which is about a mile from our office here at MOSAIC. I'd walk to work, but often there are things to go take care of, people to see,
Yes.
things to do. So still drive down here back and forth 1 mile each way every day. And the area that I live in is, and most people don't know this small neighborhood, but it's nestled in between Broad Street and Monument Avenue, which is
Beautiful.
a great spot to be. I love the area that I'm at. When I moved to Richmond 3 years ago, and have been exploring the area ever since. And I'm in a great spot to do that because I can walk to Carytown in 20 minutes. I walk down to our Thursday night trivia spot in 15 minutes,
Fun.
and I am 10 minutes away from Scouts Edition walking. So it is a wonderful location.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would it be safe to say that you picked the area that you live in because of the walkability?
Yes, yeah, it's very walkable, and for some people, 20 minutes seems like a long time when you're walking, but there's just so much nice to see in Richmond, especially if you're walking down Grace. They're
Beautiful.
gorgeous little houses all up and down Grace, and in that whole area, for a matter of fact.
Where did you move from, Jonn?
I was living in Wakefield, Virginia, and was working for a peanut company down there. And that's the peanut capital of the world,
Oh
they'll
my
tell you.
gosh,
There's a
the
town of
peanut
about
company, of
1,500
course.
people, and there are 7 peanut companies in Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's the real industry down there. It's the mover of industry.
Yes.
But that was, I was thirsty to be in the city. Really wanted to have that engagement where I didn't see the same 20 people every day, and that includes going to the grocery store or walking next door. I really wanted to be in a city, which is what brought me up to Richmond with MOSAIC. It was a great opportunity to come up here, and it was the perfect step in because the things that I had done in the past, and like I said, my event experiences and in my my culinary experiences, and it all just really came together when I got here. MOSAIC just made the most sense for me.
That's awesome. Wow, what a big change. What a big change. All right,
I know.
Jonn,
Yeah.
A big change because I've been through Wakefield many times, and yeah.
Right. If you ever go to the beach, you drive right through.
You drive through Wakefield for sure. All right, Jonn, if money was no object, where in the Richmond area would you live and why?
Of three places, I think, and they're all within about half a mile of each other, each one.
Okay.
So first would be one of the houses on Monument that is east of 195. They're old houses. They're gorgeous. Some of them have the front gardens and the back gardens. Some of them are even elevated. It's just gorgeous properties where you can get to anywhere in the city just by hopping on, into your car and on the side parking for Monument and heading to downtown right down the road. So that out of convenience and out of the beautiful properties that they are, every one of them's brick from top to bottom, just like, Richmond was built, 200 years ago. Gorgeous properties. And the next one would be, I already mentioned this once before, was Grace Street. So down on Grace, which is right behind MOSAIC here at Cutshaw in Richmond.
Okay. Yeah.
And Grace Street has about, I'd say, 2 miles of these nice little like colonial revival homes that have the wood paneling. They have small decks out front, some of them with their palisades well decorated, and each with a tiny little front yard. I don't know much about the backyards over there. I have one friend who does have a house on Grace Street, and that one is a nice little location because he has a garden in the back and just recently redid the deck. So there's enough space down there to have a little fun with in the garden, but not enough for it to become a burden. So
Exactly.
another great little space. Step down for the responsibility that it would take to maintain one of the historic homes that are on you.
Right.
And the third option, I think, would be one of the houses that is behind Carytown. So there's a quiet little street that is, I think, just 2 streets behind Cary Street. And it's surprising how close it is to the action, but how little noise and bothersome traffic there is behind there. And it's just crossing the bridge over 195 and then Cary Street. But other than that, you still even have a porch out there. And I have another friend who lives on this very road that is, gosh, I can't think of the name right now. But it is a beautiful little stretch of road back there. Little houses, little quaint houses. So, now that I'm thinking about the choices I just offered to you, they went big, medium, small. So, like you said, if it was no option, maybe all 3,
There we
maybe
go.
I'd jump around. A lot of responsibility though with 3 houses, but I won't ask that of myself right now.
There you go.
But yeah, I think those would be great.
Okay. That's fair enough for sure. So, Jonn, though we've never actually worked together in real estate, we did get to work together on an event. Can you think of any particular memory of working with me that you can share?
Well, there are a few because I think we did have a memorable event while we were there. It was about 3 hours in total, and I spent about 6 hours, maybe 7 at your house that day, getting ready, helping to set the tables, get the tables set up, doing our setup as well, and just trying to be as helpful as we could. And from starting that, I think one memory I'd have, the first one that I think stuck out to me was how welcoming you and Jenny were with having our staff in your house, and how free you felt offering up your own wares to people for this event. I mean, most of the time, I ask people to use our items, and that's because people break things all the time. So if you invite people in and some of your personal items, get get dropped. You know, one of the plates that you had over there could have gotten dropped. But you were very trusting with everyone that came in the house, and I think that spoke a lot of your kindness. And after that, the next memorable moments that stuck out. Of course, you know, it was the whole rigmarole for us of going through the event. You know, doing the run out of all of the dinner items, you know, the salad plate, then the desserts, then the champagne, all that. But after the champagne, was your toast, and that was a endearing, to say the least, the toast that you gave. And it was clear that you were very well appreciated and loved by everyone in that room. And I think that was reciprocated. And then you went outside and you did it again. You know, had the wherewithal to share that experience, not just with the people that were, you know, in your house, but those who were on the deck as well, and trying to give them an equal moment of appreciation, which was very touching. And then there was the moment at the end of the night where you know, you're thanking everyone, all of our staff, profusely about all the help that we had given. And I don't know what was causing it. Maybe you had just been standing a little too long, but your legs just gave out and you fell out onto the floor. Maybe it was a long day.
It wasn't drinking.
But
it wasn't drinking.
That was memorable,
it was not drinking.
Too.
Oh my God.
No, not a drop. No. But just,
God.
I know, you just fell out on the floor, and then, hey, but like an 18-year-old, you just sprung right back up. Hey, you know, it's time to get rid of these shoes. So that's exactly what happened.
Oh God, it's so embarrassing. Anyways, well, you know.
So yeah, I'd say those are three pretty memorable moments from that, and yeah, I hope to work with you again because of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I 100% agree that working with you guys was absolutely awesome. You guys made my event. I'm glad that I had listened to some people that had recommended you guys. Even though I didn't know what I was doing, as soon as I talked to you, I knew. And as soon as you walked in my house to do the pre, I definitely knew then. So you all wowed. You wowed every single time. There was something new every single time I interacted with you guys, and that was awesome.
Well, and we're going to, you know, keep trying to top that every time. You know, if you ever do anything else in your house, now we know what to expect. Now we know
Exactly.
where to put the beverages for next time.
That's right.
What
We'll
we
know.
need. So getting in there and building that's always the first step about building. You just you have to get your foot in the door and try something. You know, and this was your first time doing it. I'm sure it was daunting, but next time it's going to be so much better because you've already done it. You know,
That's
it's
right.
gonna be nothing.
Cake. We just got to top it. You know, how do you top baby goats though? I don't know. I've got to think of something.
Bread plates. I think we'll get bread plates next time.
Oh, good. You're funny. You're real funny. You're real funny. All right, Jonn. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And I know everyone is really going to appreciate that as well. And thank you guys all for tuning in. And remember, leave everything better.
Once again, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video.